Today we've gathered two of the newest entries into the extremely popular subcompact crossover segment. In the very blue corner, we have the 2021 Chevrolet Trailblazer RS. And in the somewhat orange-ish corner, we have the 2021 Kia Seltos SX.
What we have with these two are in-betweeners, essentially large subcompacts or small compacts. They slot in between other models within each line. The Chevrolet starts with the Trax, goes to the Trailblazer, and then the Equinox. The Kia starts with the Soul, then there's the Seltos, and finally the Sportage. But what we have actually are two very well-equipped models. So we're going to be looking at price, we're going to be looking at powertrain, we're going to be looking at the features.
What say we hop in, blast the AC, and take these two puppies for a spin?
Let's do it.
Where do we find ourselves?
Well, I find myself in a 2021 Chevy Trailblazer RS all-wheel drive. Where do you find yourself?
I find myself in the 2021 Kia Seltos SX. And SX does not mean extra sexy. In fact, SX means it has a turbo 1.6 liter four-cylinder engine under the hood. What are you packing under there, Brian?
Well, a very interesting engine from General Motors. A 1.3 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder mated to a 9-speed automatic. And said 1.3 liter puts out 155 horsepower. Very power dense for its size, but in terms of sizing up against the competition, it's a bit of a challenge.
In the Seltos, you've got 175 horsepower at your disposal, and that's hooked up to a 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. And you know what? I gotta hand it to Kia. The Seltos is actually pretty zippy.
Well, I can't say that the 1.3 liter is zippy, but I gotta admit, for the most part, you don't know you're missing a cylinder. It's not going to blaze a 0 to 100K in like 6 seconds, but you know, when you want acceleration, you get it. It's a bit noisy, but not horrible.
It gets out of its own way.
It gets out of its own way, exactly, well put. Looks wise, I gotta give some props to GM. This is a nice looking, sporty looking rig. This is the top of the line RS. As equipped, it's $35,000. It's got about $4,000 worth of options on it, but it looks good. It obviously takes some styling cues from the Blazer, which of course takes some styling cues from the Camaro. Combined with this Oasis blue paint job, I mean, it's bright, it's cheerful, and it's noticeable.
So what you're saying is the Trailblazer RS is basically a front-wheel drive Camaro hatchback.
Yeah, okay, you want to say that, you go right ahead. I'm not touching that one. I like the looks of the Kia. It's nice looking and a lot more contemporary. Inside though.
Yeah, let's talk about the interiors. Material quality is nothing to write home about. In both of these things, you get a lot of hard touch plastic on the door panels, the dashboard. I guess you do have like one sort of a soft and squishy section on the front of the dashboard, but that's about it.
There it is. I mean, these are essentially the replacement for compact family sedans. Built to a budget, and the execution seems okay. Everything seems to be fairly well screwed together. Panel gaps seem reasonably tight. No complaints that way.
They're both solid interiors, and to be fair, reasonably intuitive. Kia's infotainment, for instance, it's one of the easiest to use on the market, period. It also comes with a GPS nav integrated. Meanwhile, it isn't available on the Trailblazer.
It would have been nice to have an integrated nav system rather than having to use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, but that's the way it is.
I think it's interesting how these two are basically fully loaded, but there are some equipment deficiencies between these two. For example, the Seltos gives you cooled seats and a heads-up display system and full quote-unquote leather seats. Meanwhile, the Trailblazer gives you a panoramic sunroof, power liftgate, but no cooled seats, no nav, and no heads-up display.
If you like those features, great. I would rather have the nav system myself.
The instrumentation is very clear, it's very easy to read. The climate controls are physical controls.
The Seltos also has a bigger center screen, I think. This one is about 8 inches or so. I think you have about a 10-inch screen, if I'm not mistaken. And your graphics are better looking.
Both come with active cruise control, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, automatic braking, everything you would expect in terms of safety features, these two come with.
Up front, both of them are very comfortable. I got plenty of leg room. I think I have a little more leg room in the Trailblazer if I'm sitting in the back. So for its size, it's a pretty roomy vehicle.
Both of these offer more than enough space for 2 people in the back.
Ride quality, I like the Seltos a little bit better. The Trailblazer gets a bit choppy on rougher roads. Not horrible, mind you.
The Seltos is a bit more comfortable.
I think we've pretty much figured it out, which one's going to be the winner. What say we get out and wrap it up?
I know where I'm leaning, and I'm sure you do too. So the Seltos and the Trailblazer, they start off affordable, but once you start climbing up the trim level ladder, they can become pretty pricey, don't they?
I mean, as equipped, we've got the Kia here at about $33,000, give or take a couple hundred. And with options, the Trailblazer RS is a little over $35,000. At that price point, there are other vehicles to consider.
At 33, basically your only option is the color. It's basically $200 if you want a color that isn't black, which is nonsense.
There's a few deficiencies to the Trailblazer in terms of options and things like that. Does it make or break the vehicle? Not necessarily. But when it comes down to it, the Seltos drives smoother. It has a 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, puts out 175 horsepower, 177.
It's actually surprisingly zippy.
It is. And it has a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. The thing about the Trailblazer, and makes it very interesting and unique in the market, it's a 1.3 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine.
Not the smoothest engine out there.
I mean, for the most part, it sounds like a regular 4-cylinder. You wouldn't really know it, but why GM went to a 3-cylinder when it has a whole factory load of 4-cylinder engines to choose from, I don't know. It's an interesting market choice. But the fact is, it doesn't quite drive as smoothly.
In terms of the overall package here, I think the Seltos takes it.
I agree. The Seltos takes it. For Driving.ca, I'm Brian Harper.
And for Driving.ca, I'm Nick Trejanis. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe and like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.